Good morning, everyone. I hope you have seen the first session, which was an introduction of Indian Contract Act 1872. So now, just for a recap, we have gone through Indian Contract Act 1872. The definitions was being shared and the basic of that how a contract developed between two parties, that was being shared. I'm sharing my screen now. So under Indian Contract Act 1872, what we have discussed, how the contract contains a big sum of sections, but further it was being bifurcated under various sections, and the extract of various sections was first part was Indian Contract Act, second part was the Sale of Goods Act, third part was the special kind of contract, and the fourth part was the partnership related act. So what you can see in the slides. So now I'm going to start the definition which we have discussed, like how a contract develops. Contract is an agreement which is enforceable by law, that is mentioned in section 2H of Indian Contract Act 1872. So definition of contract as per Indian Contract Act 1872 is very simple to understand and develop. And what you can see here, an agreement. So I have told you that agreement can be social nature of, but when it is enforceable by law, it becomes a contract. For an example, what you can see, in day-to-day life, we all enter in various contracts. If I purchase a phone from a shop, then both parties are entering in a contract. One becomes the seller, another becomes the buyer. If I went to a restaurant to eat some food, in the case, again I'm entering in a contract. So on completion of my part, I need to pay to the restaurant, or we can say vendor or the hotel owner. If I went to a hotel, then I need to pay for the services I have availed. If I went to a shop and I have purchased a pen, I need to pay the price of a pen. But what is common in all this contract, like if one party fail to perform their obligation, in the case another party have a remedy. Means to say, in social kind of contract, like if someone invited you for a party or for visit their home and you have not performed the same, no obligation is being created which is mandatory to perform, and on the failure of the same you will get a remedy. In social contract, this or social agreement, these all are missing. But in a contract which is enforceable by law, the agreement, in the case the obligation is created before the party, and if party fail, then there must be a remedy. This is the essence of a contract. Now we all understand, how many types of contract are there. When you go with the law, there are many classifications of contract. On the basis of formation, you can differentiate contract. On the basis of performance, you can differentiate contract. And on the basis of, what I can say, enforceability by law, we can explain contract. So on the basis of enforceability, there are three types of contract. One is called valid contract. One is called valid contract. Another is called void contract. And the last one is called voidable contract. So it is simple to remember. On the basis of enforceability by law, there are three types of contract: valid, void, and voidable. What do you mean by valid contract? For the understanding of same, you need to understand that how a valid contract develops. So Today I'll take a plain paper so that I can make you learn in a more suitable way. Just wait for a moment. Now, when it comes to enforceability by law, there are three types of contract: valid, void, and voidable. So when it comes to valid contract means that all essential element of a contract is present, then a contract is said to be a valid contract. So valid contract means the contract, or contract means the valid contract. Basically, contract is, or contract must be a valid contract. If it is not a valid contract, there are another two options, like one can be void, another can be voidable. So what are the essential elements that need to be present to be said a contract a valid contract? So there are many essential elements, like prior I have told you that there must be enforceability by law. This enforceability contains the essential elements to be present. This enforceability word needs to that all essential element to be present, like there must be parties, there must be competent parties for the contract, there must be consideration, there must be capacity of party to enter in a contract, the object should be legal, there must be legal formalities. So likewise, there are 10 essential elements which should be present, and which then only we can say the contract that is called a valid contract. So all essential elements need to be present. And as for the Indian Contract Act 1872, there are 10 essential elements which should be present, then only a contract is said to be a valid contract. So basically what you can see here, if all essential elements are present, a contract is said to be valid contract. So in the absence of the essential element, a contract might be void or it can be voidable. So if a contract is not a valid contract, it can be void or it can be voidable. Void means what? Void means there are two options. One, supervening impossibility, and another is the subsequent changes due to which the contract is not possible. So what is supervening impossibility? Understand this way. Might a contract, two people have entered in a contract and they have to perform the contract on the due date. A date is distinct, and on the date we need to perform the contract. For an example, if someone having marriage at their home, they have contracted with XYZ hotel that the marriage ceremony will held on that particular date on that particular hotel. But before the execution of the contract, there are some contingencies, like hotel has been destroyed, burned, or something else, or the party which have entered in the contract, they become insolvent, they become lunatic, otherwise the party is now not competent to complete this contract. So in the case, what will happen? The contract or the performance of the contract is not possible. Reason being that, so the performance is not possible due to certain reason. The party was competent, the object was competent, that was everything okay at the time of formation of the contract. But when the contract was due, or when contract was expected to perform, this is now not able to perform. In the case, due to subsequent changes or supervening impossibility, these are the two options when a contract become a void contract. Voidable means what? Voidable is an option before the party. Means to say, the party can perform the contract. If party choose to perform the contract, in the case the contract was voidable, but due to the act of the party, it will becoming the valid contract. But if the party refused to contract, in the case the contract is said to be the voidable contract. So voidable means option before the party whether to perform or to reject. So basically, I want to let you know fundamentals of contract are that how a contract develops. When a contract develops, there must be an agreement which should not be social in nature, and the agreement should be enforceable by law. Further, when it comes to classification of contract, there are valid contract, void contract, and voidable contract. So for the understanding of valid contract, you should know that what are the essential elements to be present when a contract is said to be valid contract. Void means there are two possibilities. Like there is subsequent changes. Subsequent changes means X and Y have entered in a contract. Now, before the completion of the contract, X dies. So you cannot say that the person will come to perform the contract. This is called supervening impossibility. The contract is not possible to perform. But in the same case, if X become insolvent, he become lunatic, he met with an accident, now